Hello everyone. Today we are going to do a question on linked list. So I'll read out the question for you. You're given the pointer to the head node of a linked list. Change the next pointer of the node so that the order is reversed. So basically, you have to reverse a linked list. Okay, I'll explain the question. So this is a typical linked list, and you have to reverse this linked list. So how are we going to do it? So if you want to reverse a linked list, you have to change all the pointers of the linked list. These are the next pointers. These are the pointers of the linked list. You have to change the pointer of the linked list to point to the previous node. So I'll change this pointer to point to the previous node. I'll change this pointer to point to the previous node, and I'll also change this pointer to point to the previous node. And since one do not have any node before it, it will point to none. After that, 4 becomes a head node. So this is the final result. This is what we want. And how are we going to do it? Basically, there are two approaches to solve this problem. First is uh, make a new array and put all the nodes of this list to into the array and change the pointers. Uh, that is a very naive approach, and we are not going to discuss that approach in this video. We are going to discuss the most optimal approach in this video. So 1 second. Okay. So this is our linked list, and we want to convert this linked list we want to reverse this linked list. And I'll take an example. Suppose we are at node 2. We'll call it the current node, and you want to change the pointer of this node. So basically, you want to make this pointer point to the previous node, and after that, after you're done changing the pointer of the second node, you want to travel to the next node and change this pointer to point to the previous node. So basically, you have to change the pointer of the second node. So for that, you need to keep track of the previous node, so that you can change the pointer. So this is the previous node, and we have a variable that points to the previous node. So basically, what you can do, current dot next pointer will point to the previous node. This is what we are going to do. Right? And after that, I'll make my current pointer point to the next node, and I want to change this pointer as well. The next node of this pointer as well. And if I want to traverse to the next node, I need to keep track of the next node also. So I'll make a variable current.next. So initially my current.next is pointing was pointing to the next node. So so current.next was pointing to this node. So what I'll do is I'll make another variable since I'll make another variable. So this will be next, and I'll store the next pointer in that variable, and I'll then change the pointer of this to point to the previous node. And after that, I'll just change my previous pointer to point to the current node. So what I'll do is change the previous pointer to point to the current node, and I'll change after that. I'll change my current pointer to point to the next node. So this is what we are going to do, and I'll explain it again. So once again, so initially we are at the second node, and this is the current node. We need to change this pointer, the next pointer of this node to point to the previous node. So we'll keep track of the previous node, and we'll assign using the variable prev. And after changing the pointer of the current node, we will travel to the next node. For that, we need to keep track of the next node also. So first, I'll change the pointer of, of the second node to point to the previous node, and I'll change my current pointer to point to the next node. So quite easy. So I'll just change the pointer of the current node to point to the previous node, and I'll change my and travel to the next node, and I'll travel to the next node. So first I'll keep track of the uh, next node, and then I'll change my current pointer to point to the previous node, and then I'll travel to the next node. Okay. So before that, I have to change the previous pointer to point to the current node. Since if I travel to this node, and if I want to change the pointer of the third node, I will need a pointer that is pointing to the previous node. So I'll change my previous pointer to point to the current node. I'll change my current pointer to point to the next node, and I'll change my next pointer to point to the uh, next node. So basically, currently my current pointer is pointing to the second node. I'll keep a track of the next pointer using this variable, and I'll change my pointer to point to the next node using current node text is equal to prev, and then I'll keep a track of the previous node. I'll change the pointer to point to the current node, and I'll traverse to the next node. So this is how it is going to be, and I'll code. I will code. I'll share the code with you. So first is the base condition. If head is none, there is nothing to reverse. We'll just return head. Otherwise, so first we want the current pointer, that is head. Since we don't have any previous node, since the current pointer is pointing to the first node, since we don't have any previous node, so previous will point to none. So previous will point to none, and this is it. So I'll run a while loop. So first thing we are going to do is keep a track of the next node, and then we are going to change the pointer of the current node to point uh, to the previous node, and then we are going to keep track of the previous node, and then we'll update current pointer to point to the next node. And after that, all the while loop comes. Our previous when our current will become none, that is when our current will point to none, our previous will point to the last node. So this is our head. So previous will point to the last node, and the current will point to none. So This is the code. It is very simple, and if you understood it, it is very good. I'll share the code with you. If you haven't understood, please take a uh, look at the code and play around with it. You will understand it. So thank you.